Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter Dee. I am the Food Retail Sales and Services Director for North America. It's my pleasure to present to you today the Food Retail Business Unit and the challenges that we see in the business today. And as you can see from the first slide that we have up, we're going to talk about global megatrends. We're not going to go through all the megatrends here, but we're going to touch on areas such as digitalization and food supply, such as food safety. But this is a huge topic for everybody across the globe, as you're aware of. So one of the areas, as you see from the side, is food supply that's affecting the food retail business, and not just food retail. Due to population growth of 60%, more food will be needed by 2050. But what is amazing about all this is 1/3 of all food is lost or wasted. So food wastage is responsible for 1/3 of all greenhouse gases emissions. Food production will also have to increase by 60% to feed the population. Other trends impacting the food retail industry is changing market environments, creating impact on profits. Pressure through digitalization and current energy market is becoming more complex. Energy reduction to reduce carbon footprint is also becoming very important. So some of the challenges that we're seeing in food retail today, Danfoss can certainly help with all of these challenges. As examples of this, as I mentioned earlier, it's food loss. Food loss situations can be now predicted by using latest technology. Food retail stores of the future can have zero emissions. However, we should not forget about the existing store footprints that we have out there. We can have lower emissions and higher energy savings by using technologies today. Products today are becoming more smarter with intelligent algorithms installed to be self-learning and self-adaptive. And with these technologies, we can now gather the data to be more ahead of the likes of food safety, food losses, etc., etc. When we look at Danfoss, the solutions are ready today. If we look from the application product lines, as you see from this slide at the bottom, where we have line components, electronic controls and so forth, these all interconnect with each other within your store environment. And they now are smarter, as I mentioned earlier in the earlier slide, and they communicate back up into our edge technology, which is your gateway to your stores today. And we have various gateways into those stores, and we'll touch on one of those on the next slide. But more importantly, it just doesn't stop with the product solutions that are in your stores and in your environment. We also have data IoT. So the IoT solutions that we can offer today can also help preventive maintenance, help with food safety, food loss, etc., etc. And we'll touch on those areas as well as we go through some of the slides. When I mentioned edge technology, one of our innovations in 2021 is the System Manager System SM800A. This is one of our latest system managers, which is the gateway into your store. It is the latest CPU processing power, which gives us more data. It also comes with higher security, which is also very important to protect your environment, your stores, your data. And as more and more intelligent products come on stream, we also have to really think about the security features here. Also, user interface is very, very important. Trying to simplify it for the users, not just the store staff, but also the maintenance personnel that will be maintaining your stores today. Part of this technology that we have, as I mentioned, it's a single gateway into your store, but it also has smart algorithms built into the controller for automatic demand response with utility companies, smart connections to rack controllers and to case controllers, also reducing your energy within your stores. But not only just reducing, but tracking your energy trends within your stores by combining that with our cloud solutions today. So a lot more of these developments with our system manager or our gateway into your store is being developed all the time. It just doesn't stop with just the hardware. The software releases are coming out twice a year with more enhancements to make your store smarter and help protect your products within your store. One of the other latest development is our Evaporator Controller. This was based on decades of experience with our previous controllers and our industry knowledge around evaporative control. This is our latest. It's the Akcc 55 case controller. As you can see, it's coming in multiple product lines, from a single case control, multi-evaporator control, and we also have a slimmed down version for our C stores. This is very intuitive for smart defrost, and also developed the algorithms that is tracking and trending the refrigerant within your cases or your walk-in cold drums. Also, when we look at this evaporative controller, we're also making a user interface. So as you can see on the right hand side of the slide, we have developed an app which is a Bluetooth connected to the case controller. So allowing the techs on hand in that store to connect to that Bluetooth display connecting to the evaporator controller. Now, what's important about that, you might ask, well, where does the security come into here? So we've also thought of that and protected that from you. You have to have the app. It'll only talk to that particular controller. It's not like you're going to scan like you do with your smart devices today, looking for Bluetooth devices. Anyone else in the public domain will not see it on their devices. So again, taking that security into place. This will also help the maintenance techs to manage that hazard in the store by looking at the controls, looking at the temperatures, graphing, but also checking the operation of it right there in front of them by putting it into a defrost, switching lights on and off, etc., etc. So making it really intuitive for the techs that are maintaining these stores. So when I talked about all our technologies and the hardware, we've got to look at what is happening with the refrigerants in the industry. The trend is moving to natural refrigerants. And one of the areas that we have over 20 years of experience is with CO2, transcritical refrigerant systems. We have thousands of installations across the globe, but we're seeing this trend in the US increasing, particularly in the last 2 to 3 years. So with that, we have the technology to meet your needs, regardless where it is geographically in the country. So such examples is like our ejector technology here with our smart rack controllers, taking into account the efficiency of the rack, but also the safeties built into the algorithms in the rack through our controllers. We have not forgotten about the smaller footprint stores, and we've also developed a CO2 solution so that you can harness the CO2 technology for these footprint stores. And as you can see from the slide here, we have a suite of products to meet the application, the system for a C store. Also, again, taking into the smart algorithms to control the CO2 application, but again, also taking into safeties. And the reason for developing these products is also looking at the first cost of these products as well. And also, by developing these products, we're also making it easier for the technicians to maintain the systems. So we're standardizing these products that you'll see with smart controllers. Again, making a smart user interface for the technicians. So if we take all that into account, looking at the hardware, the controllers, and then the CO2, the natural refrigerants, there's a lot of data there that can be used to help support your business. So in Danfoss, we have our IoT platforms, which we call our AllSense. AllSense is developed off a partnership with Microsoft Azure. We have ease of use on this platform, pulling out all the data in and only providing the data that you require to manage your business, both from food safety, also for predictive and preventive maintenance, right? So this will give you all this access with all this data streamlined down so that it makes it smart for you to make smart decisions in your business. And if we look at that, if we look at the ecosystem for the AllSense, so you take from the left-hand side all your assets in your store. And what's also very important here to mention is it's not just Danfoss controls and product lines in your store. It's also the third-party components that you have in your store that we can connect with through our smart gateways to pull that data in, giving you that visibility of your full store environment. And then if we move across, it goes out into our AllSense cloud, allowing you access to that data through smart dashboards. But this also allows you to give access to various other parties in your organization or outside your organization, such as your technicians, your contractors supporting your stores. So if we look at it from a store manager use, he can just see the data that he requires to see. What's happening in my store? What is the temperatures? Have I any alarms here? What do I need to do next? And then if we look at from the technician standpoint, if you give them access to these dashboards, again, these are password protected. They cannot see all the information, only the information you require them to see. So this is very important for you managing your stores. It also makes it very efficient for maintaining your stores. But we don't stop there just on the maintaining and the store level. This is also very beneficial for energy managers, CFOs, that you can see all the data. What is the cost of running my store? How does it compare to other stores? Am I running the stores in the correct way? If I've run energy efficiency projects, am I getting the return of investment from those energy efficiency projects? So the AllSense platform is tailor-made for you. It's not one fits all. So whatever your requirements are, we can manage these dashboards, give you access to that data at various levels, as I've mentioned. And this is the direction we are seeing going in the industry. Managing it, being smart, hence why these technologies. And also when we look at natural refrigerants, it's also very important to understand what's happening with these natural refrigerants within your store from a maintenance standpoint and a support standpoint. So as you can see, all the product lines, as I mentioned earlier, we are ready. We're ready to support your business. We're ready to help you and long-term through the journey of your business. So it's not just looking at the new stores, it's also looking at your existing footprint stores that you have today, because you can introduce some of these advantages already into your existing. So as I mentioned earlier on in the previous slides about natural refrigerants, here's a case study that in your own time that you can read and take a look at this case study on CO2 transcritical. This was a CO2 transcritical store for Wise Markets. It was their very first store. So as you can imagine, moving into new technologies, moving into new refrigerants, it's a challenge. But this was very successful for Wise Markets and everybody involved. The reason for that is we all worked very closely together with the customer Wise Markets, with the OEM manufacturers, with the installing contractors, and more importantly, with the maintaining contractor that's going to maintain that store. So that was very, very important. But what also was very important here, and you'll see the savings that were achieved by this store with CO2. This is because when we commissioned and set up the store with all parties, we took advantage of all the smart algorithms in all the controls, making sure that the customer, i.e. Wise Markets here, was taking full advantage of these energy efficient savings that they can get from CO2. And it's not just around the CO2 natural refrigerants, it's using adaptive defrost, lighting control, smart control around controlling the compressors, the condensers, etc. So this was very, very important. These energy savings actually came from Wise Markets themselves. This is what their measure was. It was so successful that Wise Markets have decided to move forward with natural refrigerants for their new store development. And we continue to work with them like we do with all our other end users that are moving into these technologies to support them. We're not here just to sell a product, we're here to support you and your business. Support you to be successful and for us to be successful. Because if you're successful, we're successful, but also successful for the environment, which is also very, very important. Well, thank you very much for your time today. I hope you found the information very useful. I know it was very high level, very quick, but you can reach out to me or to anybody in the Danfoss team to get further information on all our products and services that we have available today. Also very important that you reach out to us what our roadmap looks like, what we're developing for the future as well. We also need your support there. What do you want to see in the future? So with that, I'm going to vision. You can ask any questions you may have, but also please remember that there's other sessions following me today. Okay, so with that, I wish you a good afternoon. Thank you very much.